in Sync I was going to say 366 video series, but that's over and done with. Being in Sync. My name is Kiana Sage. I guide people to peace, and I am on video number 8 on a trauma series. This was a series that was requested by the members to continue. So I'm doing a series of 10 videos on different aspects of trauma from the perspective of the energy psychology, which is physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual alignment with the natural laws. And if you're not familiar with the natural laws, well, now is a good time to get hip to them, because that is what governs all of energy. How energy is running through your field is through the natural laws. And those laws are really important to maybe be aware of. And if you're not aware of them, that's okay. You could do practices that align you to just truth. And that is going to be kindness, compassion, generosity, open heart. And today I am talking about healing trauma from the point of now. So I'm just going to wait for people to get their notifications, and then I'm going to move forward with 5 aspects of healing from the point of now, which is where all healing happens, because that's our point of conscious awareness, right? So most people who are healing trauma are spending a lot of time in the past. And they're spending a lot of time in their stories, and that's not where healing occurs. So my methods are quite unconventional. I'm not a big fan of traditional therapy, primarily because it doesn't render a lot of results that leave people being in their hearts. And that's where all healing really occurs. So you kind of see where I'm heading. But I'm drinking my Awakened Heart tea as we do this live session, waiting for people to join on. This is not the normal time that I come on, but what's normal anymore, right? What is normal? I definitely, oh, hi, Zoya. Oh, look, it's so good to see you here in the chat. I've missed you. Happy New Year. It's been too long, too long. How is school, my friend? How is school? How is your new year? How is life aligning for you right now? Zoya, we're talking about trauma. We're continuing the series on video number 8. Hopefully you've watched the other videos. We'll see. Not saying that you have a lot of trauma, but I have been getting notices from people saying that they've applied some of the practices that I've talked about in these videos with remarkable results, which, is beautiful, right? Because, what I do on these videos is to make things really applicable to everyday life. It's not intended to be anything that's not accessible outside of you, because we are our own healers. Now, obviously, what I do in a private session is quite different than what I do here, but that's okay. Okay, Zoya has responded. Hey, Gil. Yes, it's going nice. Still struggling with what? To impress teachers. Oh, stop trying to impress teachers. These are people that have been conditioned to look for things that, Zoya, you have much more to offer than what they are looking for. That's what I will say. But I'm not surprised that you're getting good marks. When we try to prove something to others, we often disconnect from our own inner desires. So we don't ever want to do that. We want to stop looking for approval from the outside and start looking for approval from here. And you bring up such an excellent point, because this is where the conditioning happens when we go to schools and we start looking for good grades. And this is how we train ourselves to continue to go outside of our body, outside of our heart, looking for validation for who we are and what we do. And it starts in our educational system. Really good example of that. And you don't want to do that, right? Because the outside does not determine the inside. It's the inside world that determines our perspective of the outside. Welcome, people coming in. It's 6. Okay, well, it's a different time than I usually do, but I'm just going to go ahead and press forward. There's a few of you on here. People watch these on the replay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I want to talk about 5 specific aspects about healing from the now moment. So I'm going to talk really in basic terms. Like, if you are having a trauma, the only place where that trauma can actually heal and transform is in the now moment. This is why doing traditional methods like taking medications and all of those things facilitate rewiring your systems that take you away from actually healing. There's no healing with medications. It's only a rewiring of the systems so you don't hyper focus on things. But what we want to understand about trauma is that it always heals from the present moment. So even though you take a medication, your body has what's called cellular memory. And cellular memory is how the body recalls. So the interesting thing is if you watched any of the videos before, and Zoya, I'll read what you're saying here in a second. The interesting thing about cellular memory is that our DNA is cellular. So we will have memories that don't make sense. We will have recalls that maybe is of a trauma from a past life, from a soul or wound aspect that we have yet to become conscious of. Regardless of our conscious awareness, it is our responsibility to heal in the present moment through our connection to our heart. Now, if we are having a cellular memory, how do we know? Well, that's how patterns and cycles repeat. So cellular memory, so for example, when I had injured my neck, almost 12 years to the day, I had a reoccurrence. It was a re-pattern. So oftentimes in the law of cycles, that's a universal law of cycles, we will repeat patterns where we have not completely healed. That's why trauma healing feels like it's never ending. Right? Because there's so many different aspects that we're not aware of, because when we go to traditional methods, they don't address spiritual healing, the aspect of our multidimensional beingness that plays such a massive role in our healing. So I just want to see what you're saying here. Zoya is saying, I'm really fed up by balancing myself and outside surroundings. Now I just want to enjoy my life by my choice. Beautiful. What an empowering way to do that. Jay is asking, what's the meaning of the painting behind me? Jay, the meaning is we just really love it. And we only put up things in the house and have things in the house that we love. So for example, when my husband and I got married, hey Jason, good to see you. When we got married, one of the rules that we established is like we both had things, right, from our past, and that we both had to love it at 10 out of 10 in order for it to go up in the house. And that obviously is a 10 because it's just beautiful. And it just so happens my husband purchased that at the same time that we met. I don't know if it was the same day, but it was the same trip. So we met in Thailand. I don't know if you all knew that. Anyways, good to see you. Thanks for joining in, y'all. So I just started with the first aspect of now healing is with cellular memory. So when we connect to our heart is obviously a portal, right? Is that obvious? I think it's obvious for those of you who have watched me before, but the heart is a portal for our multidimensional aspects. It doesn't just beat, it is a portal. And when we connect to it, we heal cellularly. Now, most people are so focused just on the physical, like I have this pain in my neck or my back or this or that, but those are all signals coming from the brain. When our brain and our heart are connected, healing occurs. So that's one way that it occurs cellularly, is when we're in connection to our heart. That's why so many times people are recommended to do meditation. Why? Because it calms the nervous system. When the nervous system is calm, it can heal, allow the heart to begin healing aspects that need to be transformed. Okay, the other thing I wanted to say, point number 2, and I'm going to talk about 5 points of healing trauma from the now moment, is soul healing only can occur from the now moment. So remembering that our soul is a multidimensional aspect. It's a soul matrix. We are multidimensional beings. We have multiple identities, parts, fragments, souls, beings. They all come into this matrix. Now, when we are present within our heart and attending to our emotions, we can heal aspects of our soul that go beyond our mind's comprehension, right? So that's really important, is that much of trauma healing is going to go beyond the comprehension of the mind, which is why number 3 is that we must change the stories that we're telling ourselves, because the story that we talk about in our memory of trauma is not accurate. It's not the full picture. It may be what you remember, but we already know that when there's a trauma that occurs, that memory gets impeded, if you will. So I'm just going to see what you were saying. Jason, good to see you. Oh, good. Thank you so much, Inca. I know I'm saying your name wrong, but I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for being here. So, changing the stories that we tell about trauma. Let's just say you have a childhood trauma. Like my first memory is at 15 months old. That's a very young memory. Most people don't have memories going back that young, but it was an event that I remember. And was it a trauma event? It's only a trauma event when it has not been healed. So was it an event that shook me? Absolutely. Is it an event that I experienced differently from a higher level of consciousness? 100%. When you are able to see your experience through the heart, you are able to see things through the frequency of love. Love is not just a word. It's not just a phrase that we use to speak to other people. Love is a frequency of healing. And love, when you are present to the isness of the oneness, it heals beyond the timelines. So you can see what would be perceived as traumatic situations as completely enveloped through the frequency of love. Now, is that how most people remember trauma? No, because they go into their minds. Most people are disconnected from their hearts because they're protecting their hearts. They're protecting the status quo because the mind is saying it's not safe, it's not safe, it's not safe. So one of the simple technique for people who are really sensory and find themselves going out of their bodies is to remind yourself, I am here, I'm in this chair, I'm feeling the cushion on my back, I can feel my legs are crossed, I feel my hands on the counter, I have my tea here. My mouth is moistened from the tea, I am hydrated. And that is a practice of mindfulness, to just get yourself present to what you're in right now, the now moment, so you don't miss the now moment. So you get out of your head and you come into the now moment. When we go into the story about a past, and so I'll give you an example. I had a girlfriend the other day that was telling me a traumatic story about her and her partner, and she was wrapped up in the drama of the whole story, and she had removed herself from her body. Well, you cannot heal that experience from your thoughts of judgment, okay? That's the ego mind. He's a jerk. He doesn't care. He doesn't this or he doesn't do that. All the things that this person's doing is not your business. All the things that you do that go into agreement with that is your business. And so we get present to the heart. We get present to the moment, and we can heal and see, okay, I've gone into agreements with a partnership that is not serving me. I have to go out of agreement with that. How do I go out of agreement? I get present. I get present to where I'm at right now. And I just release all the conditions of the mind. Okay? I don't read Spanish, but I think you're talking about being molested by your family or sexual abuse of any kind, and that is a trauma, 100%. Now, I'm not going to diminish any traumas that you have. I'm just going to speak in very simple terms. The story that you have about how horrible or tragic or which is all true. So I'm not going to say it's not true, but those ideas about what it is does not allow you to heal. So what I would ask you to do is just put those in the back burner and allow yourself to get present to your heart, to allow compassion and love that you have for your heart to go to that experience of that person, that little girl, that little boy, of who you were as a child, and just allow the lines of love that go from your heart to that little version of yourself, that child version, that fragmented version of yourself, and allow the frequency of love to be pumped through that. That is the God frequency that will pump through that line. When you do that, it will, and this is point number 4, this will allow a change of perception to occur within you that allows a different level, a different layer, a different dimension of healing to occur. Okay? So when we are seeing ourselves or a situation through the frequency of love, that changes how we see it. And we don't need a drastic change. We just need a 1-degree shift to completely alter our healing. So a lot of people think healing is going to happen a particular way. And I would say that that's what keeps people locked into their traumas, is that the logical mind likes to see things in linear ways, but the heart does not work in linear ways. It works in non-linear, multi-dimensional ways. So you cannot put the constructs that you have in your mind to the frequencies of the heart, because they don't match. The heart's frequencies are far stronger than your thought process. But the issue here is that most people defer to their ego mind over reprogramming and rewiring to their heart frequencies. I'm sorry, my reading in Spanish is not, is very limited. So something about the, this, I don't know what you're asking. How to pay, have to pay to live in my home? I'm not really sure. My Spanish is really poor. I'm so sorry. And I don't have a translator here. Sorry. Lo siento, mi español es no bueno. Okay, so we can just, and if you don't trust me, which is fine, you don't need to trust me, trust yourself. What I would suggest you do is you just think of an instance that you have in your mind that caused you any kind of disruption. It doesn't have to be a big disruption, it could be a little one. And just pick that disruption and say, Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you, John. This stream is about, today I'm talking about healing trauma from the now moment. And this is video number 8 on a series of 10. But I want to talk about this thing. So if you just think about a disruption that you've had, doesn't matter what kind, emotional, mental, spiritual, just some type of disruption, and you have it in your mind's eye. So then I want to ask you to just take a breath. It could be an email you got. It could be an argument you had. And just bring your attention just by touching your heart. No, I'm not a psychologist. I do energy psychology. I don't believe in traditional healing or traditional methods. I think they're a farce. That's my personal opinion. I think there are a few people that work, but hey. Anyway, so bring your attention into your heart by just tapping it. You can tap your heart. So all you need is your intention and your conscious breath to be here in your breath, in your heart. And then I want you to still hold that experience, but bring it into your heart and see what you notice happens. And take a conscious breath, meaning you're consciously breathing. You're like, okay, I'm going to take a breath now. And I'm going to breathe my breath into that situation and just witness. You could close your eyes, keep your eyes open. I'm pretty well versed. I could keep my eyes open or closed and I can still see and sense. And notice what you notice happens to that situation within you. Okay, take care. You too, have a great life. Okay. That's how energy perceptions change, through the now moment, by your willingness, number 1, to have a shifted perception. Number 2, you're consciously breathing the breath of life, consciousness into that experience through your heart. That will shift all perceptions. Now, if it does it through a small thing, it'll do it through a big experience too. So the other thing I want to say, number 5, is that emotional healing is what transforms trauma, okay? So the emotional healing always happens through the now moment. It doesn't happen by going into the past, because the past is called up through cellular memory. So just, hey, Christian, good to see you. So you don't even have to do anything to heal. All you need to do is do a regular inventory emotionally to continuously feel, sense, and transmute through your conscious awareness the emotions. You don't have to go back to the past trauma or the memory to heal it if you are in a continual conscious awareness of the emotional body. See, you don't even need therapy. All you have to do is be emotionally regulating yourself by awareness, through conscious awareness. So it's that easy. People complicate it. They think the reason why people go to pay for, this is my opinion, the reason why people go and they pay for therapy is because they want to be validated and acknowledged for the story that they're telling about their trauma. And there's nothing wrong with that. The only thing that is quote unquote unhelpful for it or wrong is that it's a false premise of how healing actually occurs. Because healing does not occur through the story you tell. Healing occurs through your presence to yourself, to your heart, to allow yourself to see things from another perspective, an expanded version of conscious awareness. So consciousness is not a thought process. It's not a story. It's an experience of a frequency. And it aligns with the frequency of truth and the frequency of love, compassion, forgiveness. It's so interesting. So many different fun frequencies. Anyways, this was not my normal time of coming on here, but I wanted to jump on today and give a short video on healing in the trauma in the now moment, because so many people think it's their stories, but the stories are connected to the past. those paths don't heal unless you're present to your heart in the moment that you're sharing the story. Pretty cool, huh? Hey, Christian. Good to see you. Good to see you. So I'm just drinking my tea here, see if anybody else joins on. Okay, if this topic interests you, I have 2 more videos left in the series on trauma. I'm not sure what the final videos will be, but this was an attempt to share a different perspective on how traumas can be healed. My name is Kiana Sage. I guide people to peace through energy psychology. That is the alignment of the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies, all utilizing the natural laws. These are the laws of how energy actually transmutes and shifts everything. It's how the world operates, but most people are not aware of these laws. So, my name is Kiana Sage. I'll see you next time. Bye. Thanks for being here. And leave me a comment in the chat if you are watching this on the replay. Bye.